Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4 Last Days of Europe with me, Alpha Pi Omega, and the Greater Germanic Reich. So, first of all, I apologize for no episodes yesterday, but I was so tired after gym I just couldn't play without yawning. So I hope that you had a nice Sunday, and today we are back into the thick of things. So we've left off in a very good place. Our euro deficit is dropping, our debt to GDP is dropping, our GDP is increasing, inflation dropped. We are going through the democratization route. We finished an example in the west and a hint in the east. And now it's time for change. The oil crisis definitely has had a lasting effect on the global markets. Nations seem to be more hesitant in their overseas purchases, which is making relations and connections with foreign interests more important than ever. If Germany is going to move into the future, then we need to adapt if we wish to remain relevant as a world power. So we get an event from sea to shining sea. Whatever that could mean, I do not know. Honestly, I do not know. Some of you actually mentioned one thing, and that's the fact that we can now have more units. Our limit is not at 50 divisions, but I think at 62 or 70. I don't know what the limit is. But we're not going to do that because increasing the size of the army would massively increase our army expenditures. And I don't like that. So let's hope that we won't have to do it. We'll see how it's gonna go without that kind of investment at this point. And if we ever need to raise more units, we will afterwards. So we got an event called Everyday Occurrences. In Germania, a pub became crowded with recently freed railway workers. Having just laid down the last rail connecting the capital to the rich city of Prague, they treated themselves to shots of beers and drink. And amongst all the talk and cheer and murmuring in the busy pub, two men in particular had a conversation. "I'm going to be pissing until sundown," Albrecht spoke in a mild Bavarian accent, pushing away the empty lager. The other man, Bruno, gave him a large grin as he tipped Albrecht's empty glass with his own, full one, before taking a hefty swig. Once he was done, he gave out a sigh and a cough burp before wiping his mouth. Albrecht raised an eyebrow at him. "You're treating this like a party." "You're damn right I am," Bruno spoke in a slightly louder voice to be heard amidst the several other workers who were talking. Though it wasn't only workers. "When I get my paycheck from the government, I'll buy a cake for my little girl. Her birthday's only in 2 days. Albrecht gave an understanding nod. "So, you know," Bruno took another quick sip. "That's why I want to let loose. Can't exactly do this around my daughter, after all." "I'd do the same if I had a kid, so I can't blame you," Albrecht replied. Bruno was about to say something else, but "Let me go! Let me fucking go!" On the second floor, two police officers were restraining a teenager and bringing him downstairs. "Fucking fascist pig, do!" One of the officers yanked at the back of his hair, and he cried out, still thrashing in their grips. The pub went dead silent, except for the teenager's swearing. It sounded like he was on the brink of tears, and both Albrecht and Bruno felt a pit in their stomachs. By the time he was out, no one was really sure what to say. Though eventually, with awkward coughs, Bruno asked his question. GDP growth will increase by 0.25%. The amount of slaves repatriated is increased by 1,500, bringing it to 1,500. Each province covered by the Reichsschnellfahrstrecke program will gain increase in railway, state growth, and infrastructure. Okay, well that actually answers my question from the previous video. No, wait, it was here, right? Yep. Well, we have no slaves, and yep, it's increasing. So I really do wonder what's gonna happen afterwards. But the GDP should be even increasing further. Oh, yes, it is. 10.55%, and euro deficit of 0.29% still. Well, it's 2nd January 1973, 100.8%. Fall of prosperity. Report on the state of Japan. Auswärtiges Amt. The Empire of Japan is beginning to crumble. As the co-prosperity sphere enters into the 1970s, it has had a very weak start. With the intensive modernization of China, they are rapidly beginning to climb to the status of a co-equal partner within the sphere. An insight into Japanese politics tells us that there is a heavy friction about the idea that China could ever possibly be anything more than a puppet to the sphere, and thus their internal stability is beginning to fall. It's advised to pursue stronger diplomatic and trade relations with the Organization of Free Nations, particularly with US. The state of their internal politics is much stronger than that of Japan, and they have a massive and still growing economy that we could expand our interests into, as well as having a large surplus of raw and refined goods. Also, China is a nation with a vast, untapped population, industrial potential, and a common outlook. Advised to form interest with them as well. More information about interactions between Japan and China can be found on pages 1 to 15. End of page. It seems like Pan-Asianism wasn't the most well thought out idea. Well, GDP is gonna go over. It should. It should go over. No, it won't go over 400 billion, but in 2 months it will. So next month it's gonna increase to 398 billion, 399 maybe even, and afterwards it's gonna jump over 400. How's the poverty reducing initiative? Nice. It's not going as fast as it's used to, but the poverty rate is also fairly low compared to the previous years. Actually, I think it's at half of, nearly half of our maximum, which was somewhere around 64%. Something like that. Can we see the data? Yep. Yeah, poverty is way above 50%, somewhere around like 64, and now we can see that it's dropping. Actually, it looks like the game is trying to claim that it was never this low, which I kind of find... Oh, because it's... Oh, okay, gotcha. So we need to do it this way. Okay, I can do it this way. Yeah. Okay, this is the numbers that we want to see. So total trade is skyrocketing. GDP per capita was higher, but now it's stabilized and might be increasing. Poverty was somewhere around 42% when we started. Went above 60, then dropped to something like... Okay, so it was lower. It was somewhere around 30, that could be even 35%, and now it's decreasing again. So we're not doing as good as I thought we were, but we are getting there. Gender rights, we have women in the workforce, industrial regulations, token regulations. I just want to achieve a yearly surplus. That would make me so happy. A yearly surplus would mean that we are actually not only, realistically increasing the GDP, but we are also realistically, we're decreasing the factual debt. Not only the real relative debt, but also the factual debt. It would be great. I would love that. I mean, it's gonna happen eventually because the debt interest is basically making us money at this point. But I wonder if that was the intention, or if we just somehow played our cards so well that this happened. And I don't know. I wonder. How's the research doing? Let me see. Okay, so Attack Helicopter Company 2 is gonna come soon. Nuclear technology is gonna come soon. The rest is fairly long. What about the production? I know we've been playing a bit. Oh god, again. Why? Okay, so guns and all of this is fine. The upgrades are done here, they're done here, they're done here, and they're done here. Okay, so all of our tanks are now Leopards 2A1. So let's lower the production to 3 factories. That means we're going to be producing 1.33 per day. I don't think we have that many, to be quite honest. We might have some in reserve, but not many. Can I see? Yeah, we got VO parts A1, A1R, and 2A1s. And I think the 2A1s are the new ones, so these ones cannot be remade. 204, that's fine. We're gonna get about 7 new per week, so that is good. That is good. I'd like to boost it later on if we will be able to. This is also fine. This is working out fine. There's gonna be about 100 days worth of changes in the advanced helicopters. This is a bit of a mess, so let's put an extra factor there. We're done here, so that's good. This is fine. This is fine. And this is ongoing, this is ongoing. Cool. So we have 4 more factories, so let's put 2 here and 2 here. Okay, we're gonna boost the transport helicopters are also going to give us quite a lot of bonuses. They got decent breakthrough and defense, some soft attack, some piercing, so they're gonna help all the units that they are attached to. Maybe not by much, but any little bit helps. Quebec-Siega are done. Do you have logistics? Helicopters? No, you got an air assault company. Do you have the logistic helicopters? I think you do, don't you? No, you have the regular logistics company. Okay, and if we change that one to heavy supply, it would give you a bonus in everything. Defense, breakthrough, soft attack. Yeah, so now it makes sense to get these ones everywhere and switch them in. So let's do that here. What about the other guys? You got attack helicopter company, okay. Infantry has field hospital. Mechanized definitely has the heli supply. Yep, they have to. And medevac. Quebec-Siega, they don't, because they don't need that much. The battalion have the logistics company, so you need the attack. No, not the attack. Heavy supply. Yep, lowers fuel usage, increasing all stats. Military Politzei is fine, but we don't need that. And you guys got a heavy supply. Cool. So that is going to greatly increase the demand for advanced transport helicopters. Yep, to 917. Okay, so we definitely need more factories on that one. We'll do that when we can. Because unfortunately we can't do anything. Oh wait, maybe we will be able to. Okay. So we're gonna get 70, and you guys are gonna get those 3 extra factories. And let's actually focus on the heavy supply companies, because this makes sense for us. So time for a change is done. We will get a new event, but in the meantime we can go with prime the ambassadors or collect the proposals. Let's start with collecting the proposals. Already our brightest minds are hard at work drafting proposals for the formation of a new council that all nations of the world can sit in on. Dozens upon dozens of names alone are floating around in our Foreign Affairs Office, as well as more than a few ideas about what the structure of such an organization will look like. Oh, we're finding the UN, so that's what the Coalition der Nationen is. I found that it would be like a political alliance, but we're actually founding League of Nations in some kind of modern way. Inspiration from the League of Nations, the short-lived United Nations, and other historic suggestions is evident in many of these proposals. While most of the ideas are just that, proposals, it's exciting to see how eager and motivated not only our people but foreigners are to create another international organization. Well, it makes a whole lot of sense. So with this we are going to create about 12 advanced transport helicopters per day in the end. That's gonna be good. So from sea to shining sea, The Einheitspact, the Organization of Free Nations, the co-prosperity sphere. All power blocks built only to sustain themselves, out from the ashes of the Second World War. Oh. Okay, the whole presidency. We can bring to birth a new world from the ashes of the old, for the union makes us strong. Traditional folk peace. Okay, not sure what that refers to, but we're gonna check that out. They existed only to expand their influence and combat their enemies, as peace was hardly seen as a viable alternative in the years following Germany's glorious triumph. Yet now, decades later, we see that there is something new brewing. The oil crisis has struck the world as a knife to exposed flesh. It has exploited the weakness found in all of the blocs that encompass the world, every superpower attempting to take it on by themselves, only to find that such a course of action is not only inefficient, but actively detrimental. Along with it, the revolt of the slaves has shown Germany that it cannot stand alone. We have made token efforts to appease the other two superpowers, true, but it is finally time for the Reich to stand together in full earnest with the rest. The Einheitspact cannot be solely Germany and its puppets. It can be more. For the good of the world, it must be. So yeah, we're going for the League of Nations. And you know what? I think that's a good way to end the game. Gus Hall inaugurated as President of the United States. Okay, so something happened here. Gus Hall. Many words apply to Gus Hall, and presidential isn't likely to be one of them. Born Arvo Kusta Hallberg in Minnesota's Great Iron Range, he grew up speaking Finnish with 9 other siblings in a frigid log cabin that his immigrant father built after having been driven from work for organizing with the International Workers of the World. Hall himself left school to work in logging camps at the age of 15 to support his family, and soon after joined the Young Communist League. That works with the YCL allowed him to travel. That work with the YCL. Youth Communist League. Gotcha. That work with the YCL allowed him to travel to Bucharest, USSR, and Hall spent several years studying at the International Lenin School. Throughout the 1930s, Hall stared down police and bosses at strikes across Minnesota and Ohio, among steelworkers, farmers, and teamsters. After a stint in the Navy during the war against Japan, Hall then spent much of the 1950s being hounded by prosecutors for proposing to overthrow the US government. He made himself known as a prominent member of the Communist Party of the USA, speaking on the college campuses and debating conservatives on live TV. Despite this, Hall seemed doomed to become a marginal figure in American political life. However, the rise of the NBP's leftist faction has propelled him far beyond such margins. Now, after the unlikeliest political triumph in American history, President Hall is seeking to uplift America's marginalized, unite the working class, and create a new America built for all instead of the few. Gus Hall's presidency takes a radical path. His platform does not just call for raising taxes on the wealthy, but for a near-total restructuring of the United States economy to fulfill his socialist vision. As part of his vision, he seeks to clean out many of the American institutions that have so often been led by reactionaries and conservatives. Socialism will be promoted the world over, and old imperialist American ambitions will be replaced by a new red eagle. Labor unions, that great old invention, will be restored to the position they once held in industry. Judges supporting egalitarianism and equity will be appointed. Above all else, Hall's presidency seeks to preserve and promote democracy, even if that means the death of the American system. Maybe he isn't presidential, but President Gus Hall is certainly aiming to be revolutionary. So, communism is now rising in America. Interesting development. So, Gus Hall has been inaugurated as President of the United States. Today, Gus Hall took the oath of office to become the newest President of the United States. In front of a crowd, of hundreds of thousands in Washington, President Hall declared, "America must fight for liberation at home from those who line their pockets with the blood of the working class." A longtime union organizer and member of the Communist Party of the USA, Hall has faced more than one stint in a prison cell for his activities. However, those controversies didn't prevent him from winning the presidency in one of the greatest shocks in American political history. Already, anti-leftist protests are springing up across the country. President Hall seeks to unite America under the banner of working-class liberation, but it's clear that this election has created a divide as vast as any in living memory. Reds in the White House. How much farther can America descend? That's a good question. Synthetic oil investment. Don't mind if I do. Okay, so let's see if I call it. Debt is gonna be 99.9% and GDP 399.6%. 6 billion. And I wanted to see the spheres growth, which I of course forgot about again. But I wanted to see Pact Commission. Oh, 5.62 billion. Okay, so they're growing only by a really small number, probably 0.4. Yeah, 0.01. Jesus. Okay, well that's not great. Come on. Okay, and what was the result? Ah, okay, so I was off by 0.1%, and here I was off by 1 billion, if I recall correctly, but it's pretty nice. Here the deficit dropped again, 2.88 billion. It was 3.2, I believe, something like that. So keep dropping, because we are going to make it happen. We are going to make it rain. We are going to make you all happy. Wonder if there's gonna be another situation or if this is the end of the game. But, you know, the communists in the United States is not exactly what I expected. Okay, we lost military austerity and the other one. So let's get those again. Oh, so okay, there's a new operation happening, and I believe they might have pushed through here, didn't they? Yeah, okay. So the war in Russia has rekindled. Let's see how the casualties increased. Okay, wow, the losses are now nearly 3 million. 1.53 million on the side of Russian Empire and 1.25 million on the side of Commonwealth. Oh my god! And the Commonwealth has a fielded manpower of only 486,000. What the hell, you guys are you out of manpower? Yeah, it seems like they're actively losing manpower. They don't have any reserve force. Okay, let's wait that one more day to get the nuclear energy technology. And we're gonna set up the 2 new research queues. So we could go with improved energy production technology or something completely different. I'm working on that one already. Construction. Engineering, that's way too far ahead. Yeah, someone pointed out that we can get the expanded special forces program Special forces are able to perform missions that ordinary soldiers cannot. We need to expand the training program to get more of our soldiers qualified. So capacity multiplier plus 25%. We can do these upgrades. 17th artillery armament upgrade. Compounding on earlier designs, these shells pack a higher yield for a lower cost. Effective at softening hard targets as well as providing fire support, they are a must in modern warfare. So all of our artillery gets soft attack plus 5, respectively plus 3 for the support. But I was thinking, considering that we have this much army experience, I might start the next episode by actually going ahead and designing some artillery. Not tanks, but artillery, self-propelled artillery units. Because we haven't been using those, and I kind of feel like that might be a cool idea to look into. Maybe there will be something like an anti-tank as well. You know, self-propelled anti-tank. Okay, one more day. February is gonna be a short month as usual. And we're done. Okay, so in the next episode we are going to continue with the next focus, and we're gonna look at a potential anti-tank and artillery units for our army. And by those, I mean self-propelled anti-tank and self-propelled artillery. It's kind of interesting that the self-propelled anti-tanks, or whatever you want to call them, have completely disappeared after the Second World War due to the modernization of the tanks, where basically they became one. So we'll see if we can change that a bit. Anyway, see you in the next episode.